Hello everyone and welcome to Photo Finds. I'm your host, Gavin Hatch. This week we'll be at Epcot taking a look at the new Soarin Around the World attraction that just opened up this week, but first let's take a quick look over at some construction walls in Animal Kingdom. Now I forgot to share these with you in the past. I was there a couple of weeks ago and I thought this artwork on the wall was really cool, and it's kind of getting me excited to see the finished product of Pandora, and I'm really excited specifically to see the bioluminescent flooring that you're going to walk on and how it's going to change colors. There's video of that out on YouTube that they showed at the D23 Expo, I think last year, and I wonder really how they're going to utilize that around the land, if it's going to be everywhere or if it's just going to be on certain attractions. But overall, I'm really excited for this now. The concept art that keeps coming out is just looking really cool. Now let's head over to Epcot. We were there in the evening on the opening day of Soarin' Around the World, and I showed you guys a few weeks ago how they had the sign for the Land Pavilion gone, and they put a temporary one there while they refurbished this, and this looks good. It's just now a white font, and it says featuring Soarin', but it is just a kind of a basic white font, and the back though is still, there is a water feature there, which looks really nice at night, but it's nothing. I think it should be a little bit bigger myself, and I think the lettering should have some color to it. Maybe they'll add that, or maybe they're going to use some sort of LED lights to have the colors change of the lettering, I should say. But it looks good overall. Now, as you walk in, there is that sign that showcases all the different attractions and things to see inside the Land Pavilion, and that has, of course, been updated to feature Soarin' Around the World, and the picture now shows the hang glider, the glider, flying over the Great Wall of China. The main entrance, as you can see here for Soarin', did not have any major changes to it. It almost actually looks the same, but they did add the tagline there of Around the World. So that looks good. It looks like it's always been there. It fits in well, but I was expecting them to maybe change the logo and make it look different, but no, it looks pretty much the same. But you will see some changes as we go through the queue itself. Now again, we were there on the night that it had opened up, and it was only a 15-minute wait, but in the morning, I saw some long lines from Facebook pictures. People were posting and tweeting about it, and there were some long lines. I would not wait that long for this attraction, even though it is a great attraction, but just no. It was only a 15-minute wait when we went, and we got in line about 15 minutes before 9 o'clock, so right before they closed. We were able to ride and come off and go right back through, and only waited 5 minutes the second time around. So we were able to ride twice in less than a 30-minute period on opening night, which is almost unheard of in a theme park, but it was really great, and we saw multiple people re-riding it, and it is something that you want to re-ride because everywhere you sit, it's kind of a different experience. Now, when it comes to the queue, the main things that you'll see that are changed is the carpet. A lot of the areas are now carpeted that were not carpeted before, which I think helps with making it not be so loud and noisy as guests are waiting. And a lot of guests file in here and wait in line, and it was always echoing and just very loud. You could hear everyone's conversations, but the carpet definitely helps with resolving that and keeping the noise level down. Also, the color scheme, the change of color, it's a lot of blues, which look great. It looks very futuristic, very streamlined, and I think it's a nice change. They did add these TVs in the back of the queue, or I should say towards the front of the queue where you're coming in when you first get in line. These, the whole time we were in line, they were just video of clouds, which I know this is probably going to be used for interactive gaming while guests are waiting in those long lines. But unfortunately, because the line was so short, they did not have any of that going, so you just proceeded directly to the attraction. You couldn't stop and play any of the games, but I'm sure we'll see this in the future next time we ride when it has a longer line to it, and I'm interested to see what the game and what they use and what graphics they use for the interactive stuff for the queue. And here's some more photos of that big area that you stand in while you're waiting in line that has the big screens that are interactive, and again, even the lighting has changed here. The lighting is definitely set up differently. It really does feel like you're in an airport, so they did a great job with that. Now in the hallway, the last stretch of the queue that you stand in before you go down either Concourse A, B, or C, this hasn't changed the lighting above you, which I love. This has always been something I really enjoyed about Soarin', just this huge structure that lights up and kind of dims and gets brighter as you're waiting in line, and the blue LED lights in the wall itself. I just love that. It looks so cool, and I'm glad they kept this part of the attraction. So this looks really neat. And while I was standing here waiting in line, I noticed the music hasn't changed. They're still using the same musical score that you heard before when you were waiting for Soarin'. And I noticed that they use a lot of Universal film audio, like a lot of the soundtracks from Universal films that you hear either at the entrance of Universal Studios Florida at the park, or you'll hear in the Cinematic Spectacular show at the end of the night. They use all kinds of different audio from those shows and also from the park. So it's interesting, and was really weird hearing Universal music while you're in the queue for a Disney attraction. And I know in the Soarin', I've said or talked about this before, in the Land Pavilion, you will, if you listen closely, you will hear the soundtrack to E.T. They play the E.T. soundtrack in the Land Pavilion. Now, of course, before they did the renovation, Soarin' had two theaters, main theaters, where you would go and you'd experience the attraction. And since they only had two theaters and so many people wanting to ride, that's what made it have such long lines almost every day of the year. And FastPass Plus is still something you want to have for this attraction, but to help alleviate that and bring the lines down, hopefully this works, they built a third theater, which is now Concourse C. So as you can see here, this wall, or I should say this hole in the wall was not here before. This was just a solid wall, and you either went to the left or right. And now you can go forward to the new theater in Concourse C. Unfortunately, both times we rode, we did not go to the new theater, so we haven't seen that in person yet, but I'm sure you can't probably tell the difference. You probably can't tell that's new. But if you did go to Concourse C, if you've ridden it so far and got to go into the new theater, if there is anything that's different, in the comments below here on YouTube, let me know what those are. Now, for those of you that are fans of Patrick in the pre-show, don't worry, he is still there. The pre-show actually did not change. They did, though, before the pre-show, used to show clouds, and it would show you where you were going and what you were going to fly over and see in California. Now it is a world map, and the line just represents of you traveling around the world, so you see the different destinations on a world map. So that's kind of cool, and then it just transitions into the original pre-show that was used for Soarin'. So you can still see Patrick do his safety spiel and tell the guy to put the Mickey Mouse ears away. And also the little boy with the seatbelt that goes through the loop, he's still in there too, but his shirt is a little different. His shirt used to say Disneyland on it, and I noticed that they digitally took that out, so now it just is a generic shirt with Grumpy on it, and I think Mickey as well, but it no longer says Disneyland on it. Hello, welcome to Soarin'. My name's Patrick, and I'll be your chief flight attendant today. And that, my friends, is my impersonation of Patrick from Soarin'. You're welcome. Well, that will do it for this week's episode of Photo Finds. Until next time, make sure you subscribe to Attractions Magazine here on YouTube, and always make sure that you get out, have fun, and enjoy the parks.